here, Gareth Davies. Well, everybody here knows him as a local hero, and Gareth Davies gets the game going, and immediately it's Big Cutler who gets it. Cox out to Ella, straight along the line, that beautiful stuff to Gould. Now the kick through beautifully by Slack. Up comes Blanco. And there's a fellow who's delighted French crowds and rugby crowds all over the world, in fact, with just that bit of wizardry, the little sidestep and the left footer into touch. Sunshine on the backs of the crowd there in the great North Stand, and there Stan Pilecki on the right marking Ian Milne. Loud blast, the shove from the Barbarians, and the first penalty to the Wallabies. Well, now let's just keep an eye open here, because the Wallabies have promised that there may be some fun and games going on, and here's a start. Is this the cavalry charge? It's legal. The flying wedge isn't that marvellous? Ella, Hawker. That's Liner with the high one. Blanco returns it too far. Well, wasn't that a marvellous start? There was a time when the Australians had a move in which they all lined in one line and somebody stuck the ball up his jersey and nobody knew where it was. And there some lads from Armadale School in New South Wales, John Hipwell's school, the great Australian scrum half who's here with them. Tom Lawton to throw. Through there goes Poidevin. And Cox waits, little Philip Cox, who came on to replace John Hipwell in the international here in '81. Not as far forward as he wanted. And the Barbarians forwards, of course, looking for the kind of cohesion that the Australians have built up through 17 matches on tour. And although the Barbarians have some pretty hefty fellows in this Wang match, as it's called today, nonetheless, the Australians still have the heavier pack. They're tight five, in fact, weigh in at 16 stone 8, and that's really as heavy a tight five as I can remember in an international. Andy McIntyre is the fellow left up in the air, but of course they've got to break up now and let a guy get in. In the old days they could stay down there and insist on the ball going in to the disadvantage of those with their heads up. Cox, little kick through there, meant for Mike Hawker. And so there's Philip Cox, whose father played 9 times for Australia as a halfback before him, and his brother Mitchell played twice as well. The two Cox brothers, in fact, played in 2 internationals here in '81. The Barbarians 22. A shorty. Lenihan got hands to it. Eventually it was Lawton who drove through round the front there with Steve Williams. Steve Williams, number 4, down there standing 2 in the line, and there is the Australian position, although it's the Barbarians' throw. Mike Watkins, who's captained Wales in 4 internationals so far, major ones. Meant for Lenihan. Poidevin tried to gather in. Gallion. Yes, that was Gary Rees who'd gone into the standoff position. Gary Rees of Nottingham, who's played a couple of times for England, emerged in the Midland Division's win over the All Blacks a season ago. Lawton once again, and the Australians have clipped their line. Nice lobbed one meant for Cutler. Cox beautifully out to Ella. Along the line to Liner. Oh, that's Campese coming in, suddenly appearing, and he's made it. Nicely out from Cutler to Hawker. Hawker over the 22. Lawton is outside him. Can Lawton get to the corner? Good tackle by Gallion. Well, David Campese showed against Scotland how he suddenly just appears And he did there, to devastating effect. That's the Barbarians' goal line. Jérôme Gallion walks along the line, just seeing that everything's in correct order. Once again, Poidevin helped by Roach, number 7. Cox hassled there. There's Big Willie Anderson getting through.
A lot of people might think that Mr. Jorge has been rather rigid in the opening minutes, but this is so important in this type of game to sort out all the nonsense now before the festivities start. If he doesn't do that, then you'll see a lot of spoiling, and that in the end will spoil the game itself.
And Mr. Jorge has decided that the Australians took the scrummage down. Gareth Davies, who knows his national ground pretty well. Great to see Gareth Davies back in the big match. Last time he played for Wales was against Scotland in '82. So that's the Barbarians' 10 metres line. And they've got 4 forwards in again. Steve Cutler, number 5. The fella they call the Skylab. Didn't quite get to that one, and Gallion picks up, helped by Rees. There's the drive on by Lenihan. Now it's nicely along the line. Mullen, the Irish centre, out there to Smith. Simon Smith caught by Campese. Pass doesn't go to hand. McGaughey was up there as well. Well, there, just a little hint of the speed the Barbarians have at their command, particularly with this uncapped lad, Simon Smith of the Wasps.
Well, this is important from the Barbarians' point of view, to have some sort of cohesiveness. Of course, they haven't had much time to prepare, and everybody's wondering how quick this lad is, Simon Smith. And when you've got somebody of the calibre of Campese against him, he really showed his mettle.
The high kick by Gould, fielded by his opposite number, Blanco. And it's Gould again. Ella, look at this, from their own goalposts, and there, the struggle down shuffle from Campese. Long kick all the way downfield there. Clearance by Blanco. And Mike Hawker was the man who put it down to this great French fullback. Needs only 3 to equal the French record of Michel Vanier. Donal Lenihan, this great lad from Cork Constitution, British Lion. Ian Milne at the front. Lawton throws. Oh, great jump at the back by Norster. Gallion, Davies, misses out Mullen. Long to Ackerman. This is Underwood. Underwood half caught there, tackled by Slack. Back inside to Mullen. And the Barbarians are joining in the fun. Tom Lawton there, the thrower in. His grandfather kicked 3 goals against Wales here for the Waratahs in 27. And knocked back there by big Willie Anderson, who may have been offside. Referee deciding on an accidental offside. Cox, Hawker. Meant maybe to get it across a bit. Oh, well, Blanco went up, and oh, how lucky he was. He could have fallen on just the wrong bit there, but what a relief to see him get up and run away. The crowd are delighted at that too.
Well, it just shows how hard this game can be. If you watch Blanco, he gets knocked right up. I would have probably given him 7.9 for that, because his landing wasn't as perfect as it should have been for a class athlete like him.
Ross Reynolds got hands to it first, but it's Davies from Gallion. Out to Mullen, a great chance here for Blanco. Blanco has Smith outside him. A super tackle by Ella. The kick on, back goes Campese. Campese out to Cox. They've taken it over. It'll be a scrum 5. Well, Well, the crowd's shouting for the extra heave here from the Barbarians. The scrummage has held fairly firm so far. Pick up by Anderson. Gallion. The drive on there and the try is scored. It's Ian Milne. So Ian Milne, the Scot, puts the Barbarians into the lead. They've played about 11 minutes, 4-0. The drive, first of all, came from Anderson, then Gallion may well have passed here. There was a try on. He took the wrong option, was tackled by Ella. Now, I think the Australians expected the drive to come to the open side here. The ball nicely worked back. Beautifully fed from Lenihan. And up came Milne, and he's like a tank and 16.5 stones, 4 points. Gareth Davies. Is it sneaking in? No. Just past that post, but a lovely start for the Barbarians.
Well, I'm not going to take anything away from Ian Milne, because it's not every day that the prop forward scores. Watch the first drive with Gallion. Now, what you watch here is that the Australians really have taken this game to heart, in so much that nobody really wants to work. Where are the Australian back row? They've taken a lot of time to get there, and that's half a chance that Milne needed to get over.
Gould gets it going. Davis opens out to Smith. Oh, this is lovely stuff. Gary Rees held. Ross Reynolds in first. But Rees laid it back nicely, and it's Davis from Gallion. Campese. Look at him weaving and sidestepping. Robert Norster couldn't get him, but Smith did. Penalty for a high tackle. May have been against Robert Norster when Campese went past him. And so the penalty for the high tackle, and a chance for Michael Lynagh. Well, it's a great day for goal kicking. As you can see there, the distance well within his capability. This is the young fellow who equalled the Australian record for one international with 21 points against Scotland a week ago. Well, he sits it up high. Now he'll come straight back for about 3.5 paces and then out to the side. Lynagh then towards the taff end, looks good, but just past. Blanco was going to run, changes his mind. Gareth Davies. Good bit of wrestling there by Poidevin. Cox, Ella, along the line to Gould. There's a real opening here as Andrew Slack goes. He looks inside for Lynagh. Lynagh is there, out to Campese, but Smith got a hand to it. Mike Hawker, the right wing, was also over here as an extra man. The Australians once again giving licence to their wingers to move about as they feel it the right thing. And there Ross Reynolds against Robert Norster, but it's Cutler who goes in. Poidevin takes and is driven by Reynolds. Good bit of rugby by those three forwards. Now the drive away by Pilecki, the veteran prop forward. The pick up by Cutler. And Ian Milne doing a lot of good work there, helped by the other Scot, Sean McGaughey. And there Donald Lenihan. He's marked by Steve Williams. Watkins throws. Barbarians doing well at the line out so far. He's getting their share. Gallion, Davis, Ackerman. Smith has suddenly appeared in the line, back inside to Ackerman. Good tackle again by Ella, who's really excelling in the tackle, but the kick on there as Lynagh goes. Now it's the pick up by Underwood. Oh, bad pass there to Blanco. Went right behind him and the fullback did well to get it away.
That sort of move is always on the card. But the danger here for Australia is that the forwards aren't going to do the hard work that they've done throughout the tour. They might be far too loose. Everybody want to run and handle the ball rather than getting in and doing some graft. The reason why Australia have been so good, especially in the international matches, is the fact that they've had a good platform to work from. Not only does this give you a good ball for the backs to work on, but it also sucks in the opposition.
Lawton meant for Cutler. Williams got it. The drive on by Roach, the smallest forward on the field, but what a terrier he is. Just watch for him sometime, number 7. McIntyre helping to get it clear. Ella, Slack, Hawker to Gould. Gould back inside to Liner. Oh, brilliant handling. Hawker again. Ella going. The pass may have been forward, but that was sleight of hand that virtually deceived the eye. And here, this wizard Mark Ella in the thing twice.
Yes, just watch the backing up of the Australians. This again has been their strength on tour. Gould into the line, and then a man available on either side, always prepared to look for the opportunity to move the ball.
And the Barbarians penalised for killing it. Now let's see, will the Australians go for the goal kick or will they run for a try? It's still, to them, a very important match. And they're going to take the kick at goal. Well, 1 or 2 little boos round the ground, but penalty goal would get the Australians right into the match. They'll look probably for a good enough cushion before they become too extravagant, as it were. This is the lad who had a bit of trouble with his goal kicking in mid-tour, and I think he kicked 6 out of 21 attempts, and then he certainly came good against Scotland. Plenty of Australian support here, and what a marvellous tour they've had. Success virtually all the way. So from the taff end, Michael Liner stroked it well, was very relaxed and casual, and it's clean through. So Michael Liner lifts his total to 88 points for the tour, and he's played in, this is his 11th game, so that's a pretty good average for him. 4 points to 3, the Barbarians lead, and we've played 18 minutes. So this is the man upon whom there'll be an awful lot of attention today. I think the Welsh selectors will be particularly interested too. And there his Les Avants, his forwards, all ready to follow. Davis starts. Steve Williams didn't quite hold it. Now Poidevin has broken. He anticipated that the Babas would win it, and Gallion goes out there to McGaughey, but McGaughey thumped down in a tackle by Steve Williams. But a penalty here for, may have been a bit of handling, and the referee may have decided to play advantage, and when it didn't accrue, he gave the penalty. Well, the Australians know all about this fellow Gareth Davis as he surveys the length and the angle of this kick. Gareth Davis, remember, he captained Wales to their victory over Australia here in '81 and dropped a goal in that match. And of course he was the key man in Cardiff's victory over them on this tour. Gareth Davis, as he pulled it round, oh, it's a bit. 7 points to 3, Barbarians in the lead, almost halfway through the first half. So the Australians will probably be looking for just tightening up their forward play a bit, looking for the cohesion that they had during the tour. Gould. Well, it's not often you see Roger Gould miss-hit a kick like that. Usually he pushes them right down to the corner and puts the pressure on the other side. And what a lot we've seen of this great Rock of Gibraltar for the Australians on this tour. Gallion, Davies, Blanco was in the line and gets it from Mullen. But Blanco, realising that there was really nothing on there, manufactured the kick again. Robert Norster and Sean McGaughey there just behind him, but Willie Anderson moves up one just to help Norster. Mark Cutler got hands to it. Ella, slack. That's Campese. Sliced it a bit, David Campese, fellow who comes from a place called Queanbeyan, up in the Australian Capital Territories, the only member of the tour party from there. It's the Australian 22. Cutler number 5. But Watkins throws long. It was meant for McGaughey. Taken instead by Ackerman. Could be a good ball for the Barbarians as Gallion gets it. And it was Ross Reynolds who reached over and has been penalised. I must say I've always a bit of sympathy for a big fella, because what else are you to do? But it gives Gareth Davies a chance really to, well, put the Barbarians in a very handy position. Gareth Davies, who scored a record 383 points for Cardiff last season, and knows his way about the National Stadium here. 2 neat goals, and the Barbarians are ahead by 10 points to 3 with about 17 minutes to go to the break. Well, the Australians have done so wonderfully on the tour, but very much a question of whether they can lift themselves again for this particular match. Certainly they need a score to get themselves back into contention. Roger Gould unlucky, the ball toppled over. Willie Anderson. A big forward always gets a great cheer. Campese with a quick throw in, but he didn't take it at the right place. But yes, the touch judge has put his flag back up again. And Willie Anderson, this big guy from Dungannon, enjoyed that.
Yeah, how dare a number 8 kick to touch with a screw kick as well, and find 50 metres from just a yard from the touchline. I doubt if any of his co-forwards will speak to him after the match.
Stanislaus Pilecki of Polish descent, 37 years old. What a veteran and what a service he's given. Tackle by Gary Rees there. Cox, Ella, Liner, slack on the dummy run to Gould. Gould to Hawker. Hawker well held by Underwood. And really that's brilliant stuff, but what a marvellous pick up by Ella. Ella trying to feed inside to Gould. Gareth Davies with the interception. And this is mesmeric stuff as well from Davies. What a run out to McGaughey. McGaughey feeds long out to Rees. Rees over halfway. Well, a bit of scraping going on there as the Australian went on the wrong side. But that is traditional Barbarian rugby football.
So what's been important from the Barbars' point of view is that now they've had time to settle down. I don't feel that the Australians have really approached the game anything like an international. And this has meant that the Barbarians have now been able to pick up some loose ball situation. And Gareth Davies was very quick to show that he's not a negative player, and quickly turned defence into attack in setting away the Barbers' backs. Here is Gareth getting away here, and although the ball moves out, at one time we thought it was going to go to the wing. I thought that Gary did very, very well here. Ball is almost going away from him, but he keeps it back inside. He's committed the forwards inside and kept the ball going.
Meanwhile, the Australians are being pushed back in the scrimmage. There may be a penalty for a late tackle on Blanco as the Australians go through Lina. Lina clean through, now he goes back inside to Slack. Slack's looking for support. Up come the forwards. Pilecki goes on. And Slack takes it. This is going to be a magnificent try for Steve Williams. Well, the referee has awarded the try, but the booing is because the crowd think that Serge Blanco was tackled late. But the try stands to Steve Williams, the Australian vice-captain, and that's cut the lead to 10-7. Steve Williams' second try of the tour. And, well, you can sense the feeling from the big crowd here. But, of course, the Dutch judges can help the referee in relation to foul play. And neither of the Dutch judges signalled any such thing. Michael Lina, who had such a hand in that move, and puts the finishing touches. Well, Blanco was lying as Lina made the break. It was a searing break. He saw the way cut off outside, so he fed inside to Slack. There was still some brilliant rugby coming because that was Pilecki, the prop. A marvellous take by Slack, and look at the support there. Cutler was in behind Williams as he scored.
Well, I wonder if we'll see the incident here as Blanco gets the ball. Was he late tackled? Well, I think he was only half obstructed. But the Barbarians, thinking they might have got a penalty, I think were a little bit lax, and the Australians made the most of their opportunity.
Australian 22 as Michael Lina cut inside. And those Barbarians forwards, although they're a mixed lot, drawn from all the earths, as they would say in Scotland, they're certainly doing some splendid work and more than holding their own. Now watch this scrimmage, it's going to be interesting. Ian Milne, the Scottish tight head, who's a very strong, powerful scrummager against Stan Pilecki, and he's got him half down there. Fed out from Anderson, that's Ackerman. The little kick through to the corner, across goes Gould. Rory Underwood up there, and just being sure that the Australians couldn't take a quick throw. "12 minutes to go to half-time, just 1 point in it." Now, so Tom Lawton will be very careful with this throw. Meant high for Cutler, but Norster really is making it difficult for him. Milne has it, drive by Watkins. Now it's Gallion, Davies, Ackerman, well tackled by Lina and by Ella. And the put-in going to the Australians, which is surprising, but I think the referee's indicating that the ball may have gone forward in the tackle. Certainly the Barbarians were going forward. Oh, they've taken one against the head. Ackerman, held by Cox. Slack was in there with the tackle as well. That's Andrew Slack at the side there, playing as a flank forward. And there another indication of the way those Australian backs act as forwards when the need arises.
But it was interesting to see how quick Phil Cox put the ball in the scrimmage. I wonder if the front row were under pressure.
Gallion, caught by Cox. The kick on, picked by Blanco. Up came Ella, and he got a foot to it. Slacking on the tackle. Chris Roach, number 7, is there as well. They're almost up to halfway. So this is the kind of game at the end of a tour that the Australians, in a sense, could well have done without. An awful lot of running. They've had a strenuous tour, a tough itinerary. But it's Cox to Ella. Lina kicking across. It's meant for Campese. Smith, beautiful stuff. Tackled and thrown down by Poitevin. So no holds barred in that tackle. But I must say, you'll see Simon Smith getting up probably at the end here. And he really made a beautiful catch. He was practicing yesterday, and he impressed me with the casual, relaxed way in which he took the high ball. And, well, he did it there to great effect. Simon Smith, who was a new Barbarian on the Easter Tour in '84, just getting attention down there from Keith Haas. And the Australian forwards just over on the right are having a bit chat, and I'm sure they'll be talking about the pressure. Yes, big Stan Pilecki, number one, probably talking about the pressure. You notice he's having an animated conversation with Tom Lawton, the hooker, and that suggests that they're having little problems in there. Well, no problem there. That was quite a good channel across. Ella, slack, Ella, liner clean through. Oh, beautiful. Now, Hawker is outside, but he's given it inside, and Poidevin goes, and Poidevin has scored. A third try of the tour for Simon Poidevin. The crowd appreciated that one, because that again was brilliant handling, and the Australians are in the lead.
Well, watch now, the move that makes the problem here is where Ella loops, and it's a quick little pass there to Liner, which allows him to break through. And of course, as we're so fed up of saying on this tour, watch the support on either side, but it's Poidevin who takes it to go underneath the posts.
So Simon Poidevin there, who plays for the Randwick club, as does Mark Ella. And here back to the fellow from Queensland University, Michael Liner. Yes, a nice little stroked effort, just like a little wet shot, and it's over. It really was sleight of hand, wasn't it? Because Andrew Slack took it. Now there's the first bit and there's the second bit. Two passes, both of them only about a foot long. Liner clean through, and then Poidevin, well, he just got a sniff of the line and he went. 15 points to 10 with 7 minutes of the first half to go. Again, it was Williams who got fingers to it first, but Cox is held there by Anderson. See Gary Rees, number 7, just hanging off there to await development. Ella with the long one. Blanco. There's a ripple of excitement every time Blanco takes the ball. Smith. Rees. Blanco again. Smith, but the Australian tackling is so sure. They've really got the bit between their teeth now. Gallion. Davis. Mullin. Blanco again. Hawker. Hawker nicely to Cutler. Cutler, this great big 6'8" lad, as Underwood intercepts. Underwood across his own 10 metres line, feeds to Gareth Davis. But again, the orange jerseys were there blocking the way, and they've won it. Yes, Gary Rees was about 2.5 miles offside there.
Yes, although the tackling was very good of the Australians there, I thought those two moves by the Barbarians shows the difference between a team that's been together for 2 or 3 months, the Australians on one hand, and the Barbarians who've been brought together in the last couple of days. Although there was a lot of sleight of hand, some magical moves by the backs, really you could see that there was no real understanding between the backs, and that's why they ended up in the clutches of the Australian defence.
An ambitious kick for goal, perhaps, from Michael Liner, who's away back there at halfway. But it really is well within his range today. There's no breeze to bother him, and the pitch at that particular place is fairly firm. Mind you, he's just short of the halfway line, but, well, he can kick this distance all right if he hits it plumb. Liner, Well, he sclaffed it. He got it halfway up and slightly hooked it. And so it stays at 15 points to 10 for the Australians. It's about 5 minutes to go to half-time. And Gareth Davies takes a quick one. Blanco couldn't hold it, but Rees did. Gallion. Davies misses out Ackerman to Mullen. Mullen to Smith. This guy can go. But Campese half held him. He struggled away. Roach was there. Mullen caught by Campese. They're into Australian territory as Gallion feeds Davis once again. Blanco along the line to Underwood. Underwood veering inwards. Kick through, but Hawker is back there. Well, that really is a super kick by Hawker on his left foot. Barbarians take a quick one to Norster. But it didn't work because Poidevin went down. Pick up by Williams. There's Williams, Steve Williams, this giant forward who was over here in 1981, is vice-captain of the tour, and he's been another great bulwark in this Australian pack during the whole tour. Cox, Ella. Liner. Still could be awkward. Underwood has to go back. Hawker comes up. Blanco. Well, you can tell what a favourite this fellow is with this huge Welsh crowd. He gets the biggest applause of the lot, and it was only a touch kick. Simon Poidevin at the tail for the Australians, as he's been in all the test matches on the tour. But Big Cutler there is second from the back. Lawton held. Then Williams pulls a man away, but Lenihan got it out. Now it's Davies. Ackerman, Davies, Mullen. Smith. Smith has Blanco outside. Blanco caught by Campese. And there a lovely sporting touch by Blanco, and there is why the crowd have such an admiration for this French fullback. So with 2 minutes to go to half-time. 15-10, 2 tries to 1 for the Australians. Cutler goes, nudged a bit, but it's taken by Reynolds. Reynolds to Williams now. He noticed the support that came from the big lock forward there. Now it's Cox. Roger Gould making sure of his touch that time. Mind you, when Roger Gould hoofs the ball, it doesn't matter a lot sometimes whether he finds touch or not, because you have such a long way to run back for it. A two-man line out by the Barbarians. Watkins throws. Anderson tried to palm. Poidevin took it. Got help from Reynolds. The rolling maul as little Roach comes away. Now it's Cox. Superb pick-up by Ella. Liner. That's Campese once again. The dummy switch inside. The chase by Ackerman. And Bob Ackerman chased him all the way across. He didn't leave him. So there's the midfield gunboat of 13.5 stones, Robert Ackerman. Barbarians 10 metres line. Watkins with the long throw. Back on the Barbarian side. Gallion got a thump there as he tried to go through. Now he's got it a second time. Davis missed out Ackerman. Blanco, another lovely pickup. This is Smith. Smith, lovely bit of policing by Campese. That was brilliant work by the Australian wing. He made his man go where he wanted him to go. He made sure he couldn't cut inside, made him go to the touchline, and then boom. So Campese is a defender of excellence as well as an attacker. Into the injury time at the break. Australia 5 points in the leaders. Gareth Davies goes. He was half obstructed by Ella. The referee decides that it was obstruction. Little friendly nudge, and Gallion goes. Blanco inside to Rees. Smith, Gallion, Davies, Mullen, Underwood, out to Ackerman. Great Australian tackling on halfway. Davies, McGaughey was there. Mullen picks up. The referee's whistle has gone. No, it's not half-time yet. It's a big crowd. It looked as if it wouldn't be so big, but just before the kick-off, they came in great numbers, and we've certainly got plenty of Kimbrick Hoyle in this pitch today. Brief injury to Sean McGaughey, the Scottish flank forward. He's already had a broken arm this season, so he's been in the wars a bit. Well, there's the fella they call Mongrel, and no wonder he's smiling. Look at that score. The Australian mascot who disappeared after the Pontypool match, and there were great fears for his safety. They thought it was a hijack, but they got him back. Australian scrummage had to fight there, but Reynolds gives to Cox. This is Gould. Gould caught by Davis and McGaughey. Out once again, and there's a chance here as Ella decides to go. Now it's Lina once again. Lina had slack outside. Pass was a bit hurried, and Campese couldn't hold it. The referee's whistle goes for half-time, and the Australians arrive at it having been behind for much of the half, but then having got in front by 15 points to 10. Well, are we going to have 40 minutes of sheer splendour in rugby football? It's been a super tour with great tries. Let's see if we can have a grand finale in the second 40 minutes. Goal. Blanco from Biarritz. Campese from Queanbeyan, and now Ella. Gould, Ella. Ah, there's the one behind his back, not quite to hand there. And Gould was the man who saved. Now the Australians have no fullback at the moment, but the referee had seen the ball going forward from the reverse pass. Rennie Urke, the referee, had charge of two South Africa-England matches. Davis. A lovely kick by Davis. So this Wang Computers match certainly promising a great deal in this second half. That's the Australian 22. Steve Cutler, number 5, is in his normal position this time. He sometimes slips a couple back. Lawton, the lobby one, that's the one Cutler likes, but nicely from Watkins. Gallion caught there by Cutler. This shows you this big fellow isn't only a big, tall 6'8" one, but he works well too. It's the kick on by Williams, but a penalty, I think. Referee again waiting for advantage. He made a motion with his foot there as if it might have been dangerous play with the foot. But in any case, it's Gould. Ella on their own 22. Lina. Underwood. Remember his lovely try against France last season. Underwood through. Oh, the support went the other way. The wing was a little bit unlucky. The support initially was on his left and he felt it, but it went the other way, and he's just saying, okay, I understand. Cox. Oh, Gould again. This is Mike Hawker. Oh, lovely pass inside to Ella. They've broken completely out Poidevin, but the support wasn't on his left. He needed someone closer. Roach goes in. And that again, the kind of rugby football that has well endeared those Australians to British rugby crowds. Gallion. Gareth Davis again, doing what he did so well for Cardiff against the tourists. Campese. Gould. Got it away well enough, but Cox in trouble. Lovely ball for the Barbarians. Gallion goes. Obviously didn't quite feel the support close enough and had to take them on himself. Gareth, I was just wondering when Gallion was going to have a break. He's a bit quiet, isn't he?
Well, I think he's trying a little bit hard, but of course I think it'd be far better if you could wait and bide his time, so to speak, because that Australian defence is very, very good. And as we saw David Bishop get problems in the Welsh match, Gallion might be taking the option at the wrong time.
Just outside the Australian 22, Gallion, Davies, Ackerman goes on the dummy run. That was to Blanco. He could have done with it in front of him. Davies, beautiful. Underwood. Ella with a tap tackle. And Cox was the man who put him away. Aided and abetted by Ross Reynolds. So the little scrum half there put in a very important tackle for the Australians. And Rory Underwood, who was travelling almost as fast as one of the jets he drives for the Royal Air Force. Robert Norster is marking this big man, the perambulating lamppost of the Australian line-out. Steve Cutler. Oh, a loud blast there. Yeah, leaning on a shoulder.
But to be fair, Bill, I mean, at 6'9" or whatever he is, you do need a little bit of a help. And I'm sure that the Barbarians forwards won't be too pleased with the referee that he wouldn't let him give a little bit of leeway. But of course, it's so important also, as I mentioned very early on, that the referee does keep a tight grip, especially in the line-out.
Number 2, Mike Watkins there, formerly of Cardiff and Crumlin, and now of Newport. And there's Stan Pilecki of the Western Districts Club, Brisbane, Queensland. Gallion, strong and powerful, and out it goes to Ackerman. Ackerman, another heavy, strong runner. Nicely out there from Rees. This is Blanco. Blanco going outside liner. Underwood again. Underwood comes inside Cox. A dazzling bit of running there. McGaughey goes charging on. McGaughey, the pass just going low as his arm was knocked as he meant to put it in. But now the Australian counter-attack through Ella. And it's Campese. Campese is over halfway. He's only got Ackerman to get past. If he goes for the line, he feeds on, and it's a superb try for Michael Hawker. That was wizardry all the way. And what an ovation for this great player. It was the counter-attack, typical Australian style. Now actually, if David Campese had pinned his ears back right away, he would have made it himself. But he wiggled a bit too much, and the pursuit caught up with him. But watch Hawker here, how he switched. Campese found him, one arm, great. And listen to the applause for Mike Hawker. 21 major international appearances. Hasn't played in the tests on this tour, but what a try that was. Just a brief stoppage for this injury to Robert Ackerman. And back to Michael Lynagh. He's now got 92 points on this tour, Lynagh. By far the top scorer. James Black, one of the replacements, is next. Liner. All the way. His 4th successful goal kick.
Now, we've talked about options throughout the match. Wasn't it the right option by Ella to put it inside to Campese? Now, Ackerman did the right thing here. He didn't commit himself. He made Campese dodge and weave, hoping that his cover defence could come along and tackle him, which they did. But, of course, the support play of the Australians is unique, and it was a lovely try there by Hawker.
So the Barbarians have something to do now. 21 points to 10, they're adrift. Davis restarts, up goes Williams. Cutler takes it. The orange blanket goes round and it begins to roll away. Back from Roach, Ella. Tackled by Rees, fed on there to McIntyre. Oh, Cox almost through, caught by Gallion. Pick up by Ackerman, just on halfway. Gallion, Davis, Blanco. Pass just going behind. It's happened once or twice in the match where the overlap was created and then the pass just going behind the man. I think we might have a look at this magnificent scenic view here. It really is a superb stadium now. 15 years to rebuild. And Sean McGaughey was round there a bit too quickly. Yes, ref, I almost had him, he says. Hoyk accent, of course. Cox. Ella. Liner. Oh, it's Campese again, the wonder man, and once more. Huge pass out there to Gould. Gould caught by Underwood. Liner tries to get it. It's Poidevin who takes it. Andrew Slack, the captain, is in there. Cox once more. Ella. That's the left-footed kick, but Chris Roach was out on the wing there, and although he went for it, he reckoned it was just a bit too far. So Mark Ella, who's been another of the great stars of this tournament. Everybody knew him, of course, from the Australian schoolboys in '78. Gareth Davis. Cutler once more. Poidevin drives. McIntyre goes past. Cox. Ella. Slack. Tackle by Mullen. Ella. Half through. Campese. Over the 22. Dr. Sid Sugarman, who's tended to all the medical needs of the Australians on this tour, and like them all, looking forward to Christmas at home. Lawton throws long, Poidevin palms. Down goes Roach, this little beaver of a flank forward. Now it's Cox. Cox turned and set it up, and Slack goes in to be scrum half. Versatility plus there as Ella feeds, and Ella gets it back from Liner. He wasn't held, so he's okay. The referee decides it was a penalty, but when his knee was on the ground, he was held. The crowd would have loved to see him running. Gareth Davis entering into the spirit. Underwood coming inside Ella, feeds onto Watkins. Watkins drives into Steve Williams. Gallion, Davis, Ackerman, Mullen, Blanco. Blanco to Smith. Smith well tackled by Hawker. What a game the wings having. Pick up by Liner. Ella. More sleight of hand. Oh, the pass to Campese. Campese going for the corner. Feeds inside. Gould. What a catch! And what another marvellous try. The try is given despite some boos. And it really was another masterly bit of running, almost out of defence and away. Lina got it started. And then watch this pass here from Markella. See, one-handed look underneath the arm, and then Campese, having taken it with his fingertips, woof, a long one. A look at the catch with that hand like a dinner plate, and Roger Gould was home. A fourth try for the Australians, and a fifth goal kick for Michael Lina.
Well, the reason that Australia scored this try is because the Barbarians forwards are now getting tired. They're not getting there. Look how Campese had enough room and space around him. The crowd were a little bit disappointed. Possibly they thought that ball to Gould was a forward pass, but I'm so glad that Roger Gould has scored this try. A man who has set up so many tries for Australia in the 4 internationals finally scores himself.
27 points to 10 the margin now, and 4 tries to 1, but the Barbarians still attacking. Gareth Davis, a lovely run onto Ackerman, but what a tackle there. Was it Lina? No, in fact it was Mike Hawker with the initial tackle. The Barbarians are as close to the post as that. The 22, in fact. Gallion had a little look. And Gallion goes from Willie Anderson. Gary Rees. Australians on the wrong side, but doesn't matter. Gallion's got it. Davis, Mullen, Blanco. He's looking for Smith to come inside him, and he has. But again, the pass not quite going to hand. Ella in, robs him, and away he goes. Another magnificent pass underhand. Gould has lost control. Roach, number 7, goes in there too. Now it's Anderson and Gallion. Davis, a real chance. Here's it, comes to Ackerman. Ackerman to Blanco. Blanco. Underwood going. Lina with the tackle. 2 meters short as Blanco tried to get it. Hawker wins it, and it's eventually point of him. But that really was probably the Barbarians' best chance of a second try. And once again, a great demonstration of Australian cover defence. Michael Lina put in the tackle, and there were 2 pals with him.
Yes, but what was even more incredible is it was that man number 4 on the ground there that actually picked the ball up when Underwood was tackled for a second row forward. With the pace of this match, that was incredible.
And there with the Australian scarf on, Dr. Chilla Wilson, the manager, who must be sitting up there wonderfully content at a great tour. But the Barbarians come again. Davis, Mullen, missed out everybody. Simon Smith trying to go through, but again, tantalisingly short of the line. Penalty for preventing fair release. Now everybody's hoping the Barbarians will run it. Andrew Slack pointing out that one of the Barbarian players is hurt. That's him, Rory Underwood. And great cheers because it looks as if the Barbarians are going to go for the try. Mike Watkins trying to explain in his best Welsh to Monsieur Gallion, and both nodding their heads with a little bit of wee-wee. Yes, I think so. Slight complication in that Rennie Urke, the referee, doesn't speak a lot of English. Well, now here we are. Has the French-Welsh cordial working here. It goes to McGaughey. McGaughey to Anderson. Norster drives, but once again the power of the Australian tackling, not only putting the man down but actually knocking him backwards. Gallion again. Davis. McGaughey thumping through. He He loves that kind of play where he can take 2 or 3 men with him in the drive. And here Phil Orr, number 1, coming across. 44 internationals in a trot, and that's a record. Well, the Barbarian scrum has looked fairly steady. But Phil Orr has gone down very awkwardly as Cox gets it to Gould. Gould with the extravagant dummy and the big kick. But let's look back. I think Phil Orr is all right as Gould's kick goes into touch. He's just a bit concerned because the scrummage fell in awkwardly and he seemed to go over on the side of his head, but he's okay. The tough man from Old Wesley, probably with a size 20 collar, I would think. And thank goodness for that. Cutler held there by Norster. Norster taken away there by Roach and by Williams. Well, plenty of Barbarians pressure here. Remember, the Australians have had a long, arduous tour with one of the toughest programs any major tour side has ever had to face. And they're all thinking now of home, one would imagine. And that was good work by Gary Rees. Now it's Gallion, Davis, Mullen. They missed out Blanco, Ackerman. This is Smith the wing. Smith the wing out to Underwood. Oh, what a pity. And Rory Underwood is, well, to say disappointed doesn't really express it. The two wings from England there, together on this left-hand side, and within, what, 5 meters. This is Roach. Got by McGaughey. Cox in trouble. Down again goes Steve Williams to hold it up for the support troops. The drive through, but the ball wasn't there. It was Phil Orr now. Ackerman. And again, that it's a fair tackle, but it's a very, very hard tackle, where the Australians catch a man and throw him over, kind of like a fishmonger putting a bit of place down on the slab. 20 minutes of the match to go. 27 points to 10 for Australia. Gallion with a little fancy one. Gives it there to Lenihan. Lenihan on to Anderson. Milne again! But the referee was beautifully positioned, and I don't think he could really decide there. His decision, I think, will be undecided. Scrum 5, attackers' ball. Too many bodies round the ball. But it was Ian Milne almost earning undying fame. That would have been his second try of the match. McGaughey picks, held by Poidevin, Gallion, Ackerman, Mullen, Blanco. Blanco out to Smith. This has to be the try for the uncapped man. Delight all the way, and thoroughly well deserved. The crowd loved it. Simon Smith, the only uncapped player. McGaughey really started it because he took out 2 men, and then Gallion with that huge floated pass to Ackerman. Mullen just fed it on. Now watch here how Blanco took a man out, held the ball up, and really Smith had a clear way. Lovely try. Well, congratulations all round, not only to Smith, but Smith himself thanking Blanco for the beautiful pass and for taking his man away from him. Simon Smith from Lichfield, who played for Bill Beaumont's old club, filed at one time and has given Gareth Edwards this chance to cut the leeway further. Gareth Davis. Although Gareth Edwards did kick a goal or 2 for Wales, I may tell you.
I quite fancy it, Bill, but being so far behind, maybe I better leave it to Gareth Davis.
A bit too old now as well, eh? Gareth Davis, the top end will tell you.
Well, the room for Blanco had been made here at this scrummage because the Australian defence had been carried in. Then a long pass by Ackerman releases Blanco, and Gould, who's done such a good job for Australia in this situation, sees Blanco give the pass to his wing Smith, who goes over unopposed. And it was worth noting that Gould tapped Blanco on the head, knowing full well what he had done.
Gould restarts and Gareth Davis gets them running once more. Smith, but look at those orange jerseys, so many of them and so quickly, and immediately they've created a pressure situation against the Barbarians just by getting there quickly and putting Simon Smith down. Yeah, Chilla Wilson looking worried that the side have conceded 2 tries. Well, it's only 13 tries they've conceded in 18 games on tour, so the Australians must be pleased. Still, the scrummage is having trouble, but Cox gives it to Ella. Line up, the move went wrong there, and Mullen did well. He drove his man back. Ross Reynolds was back there to help, but the penalty goes to the Barbarians. Referee waiting for advantage. Punch thrown, we believe. Didn't see it myself, but Gary Rees may have seen it, or maybe he didn't see it. This is Gary Rees of Nottingham, who got his first cap against the Springboks as a replacement when John Hall went off on the recent tour, and a second, of course, against the Australians for England on this tour. Stan Pilecki and Tom Lawton, the 2 front row men, and Gareth Davis. So he's had some very good moments indeed, Gareth Davis, and I'm sure the Welsh selectors will have put down a few pluses for him on this match. Ian Milne of Heriots FB and Harlequins. 15 minutes of the match to go. 27-16 to Australia. Watton with the throw, but Norster got hands to it. Poidevin drives. See how Poidevin fought there to get that ball clear. Now it's Cox. Ella. Underwood decided to wait. Acceleration, left it. Pick up by Rees. Willie Anderson driving. Lenihan couldn't get it clear. Ross Reynolds may just have taken his eye off the ball, and it's Phil Orr. Out to Rees once more. Rees caught by Cutler. And I don't know what Jérôme Gallion was saying, but if it was in French, the ref certainly would understand. Body over the top, I think. Gareth Davis again probing for position. Not one of his best.
No, but so important now to at least give the forwards a little bit of a respite, because there's a lot of running in the game, and with the last 10 minutes or so coming up, those Barbarians forwards in particular will be looking for every opportunity in which to regather their thoughts and their wind.
14 minutes to go then, and they're 10 metres outside the Australian 22. Cutler got it. Cox did nicely, nippy there. Was Andrew Slack the skipper? And this may be the last time we'll be seeing Andrew Slack in an international context on the tour. And what a successful captain he's been, both on and off the field. Watkins, Anderson, Gallion, Rees, McGaughey. Watch the shoulder go down, but they don't stand on ceremony, those big Australian forwards. It's Gallion once again. Good tackle by Chris Roach there. Norster feeds, Rees goes, but he's caught as well, and once more turned over. Gallion, nicely out to Underwood. Underwood with that flaring pace of his. Oh, fine tackle by Gould on the 22. Gareth Davis went in there to help as well. Gould. Boom, Fitch found space, and Blanco has a long way to go. Now what support has he? He's got Smith on his right, but he's run right past him. Little chip ahead. Mike Hawker was there. Blanco, the pickup. Can he make the line? Back inside to Gareth Davis. A superb pickup. That was Milne. It's on to Anderson. Anderson to Norster. Norster to Lenihan. Watkins couldn't quite hold that one. What a thrilling counter-attack that was. The crowd simply rejoicing over that. It was a no-hope situation originally when Blanco went past Smith, but what a lot the Barbarians made out of it. Cox. Ella. So Mark Ella is another who is considering retiring, which will be a tragedy. 25 years old, one of three brothers who've played for Australia. But they tell me there's a fourth one coming up, and he's better than the lot of them. So the Australians will be delighted, and all their opponents will have the prayer mats out. Gallion, Davies, McGaughey once more. A bit of skill with the boot, is it? Campese. Yeah, and I'm sure the Australian forwards had a look at Campese and said, thanks very much, David, because you can see it's been a tough tour and it's been a tough match. 11 to go. 11 points in it. And Willie Anderson palms again. Gallion, Davis, Mullen. Mullen, Smith, this flying machine outside his man. Barbarians repossessing, and Gallion. Davis once more. Mullen. Ackerman. Underwood flying for the corner. Gould set him up, but he's missed him. Underwood in. The touch judge hasn't ruled it out. The try is given. The Barbarians are coming back into the match. Gallion won it from the second phase. And then watch this crisp handling. Davis, Mullen, Ackerman. Now the boy had a lot to do, young Underwood. Liner couldn't hold him. Gould seemed to have him, but lost him. Now watch where his feet were. Well, they didn't touch the line before the ball was down, so it was a try. "21 years old, Rory Underwood of the Royal Air Force, has played for Yorkshire in the County Championship final of '83, and that's his third spectacular try in a representative match.
The only thing to say here, look at this lovely orthodox passing by the Barbarians. Ackerman, reminiscent of John Dawes in the old days, with this lovely pass which gives his winger all the chance in the world to get away. He's got electrifying pace, and that's what beats the first and the second man. And even though Ella did a brave attempt to tackle him in the corner, it's a try that Underwood really has deserved this afternoon for showing a lot of guts and a lot of pace. And with the kick failing to reach its target, it's the Barbarians 20, Australians 27.
And we've had 7 glorious tries and time for 1 or 2 more. 8.5 minutes of the match to go as Liner restarts. Gareth Davis. Blanco. Mullen, he's pretty quick, but the pass didn't go to hand. Gallion. Nicely out to Smith again. Smith trying to run outside Roach, but Roach covered him well. That was great stuff as Ross Reynolds goes. The feed inside to Cutler. And it's all action as Lenihan throws in, and Norster takes it. The 2 great line-out men combining there. Probably the 2 best line-out jumpers in the championship at the moment. Gallion again. Davis, Mullen, missed out Ackerman. Blanco going, gives it again to Underwood. Underwood over halfway. The support is there on the inside. Mullen. Campese counter-attacks. On to Ella. Ella is clear. Smith is going for him, but there's support on either side, and that's Andrew Slack going. And is he going to do a Wilson winner, eh? He is indeed. The captain scores. Well, it might be the final try, it might not. But nothing could be more appropriate than this successful Australian captain should ring down the curtain with that try. It looked good for the Barbarians. Underwood had made the clean break. This nice little pass to Mullen, who may just have taken his eye off it. And then, well, Campese needs no second invitation, does he? That pass may have been slightly forward, but Ella was clear. Across came Smith, and the skipper was there, Andrew Slack, 22 metres, home and dry. Serge Blanco getting some attention there from Keith Haas, who looks after the Barbarians. And Lina, spot on once again. Watch that, his sixth successful kick of the match.
Well, it could so easily have been a try for the Barbarians, but it's once again the Australian support and this man, Mark Ella, which sets it up yet again. Maybe it's appropriate that Andy Slack scores here right underneath the post at Cardiff, with possibly his last game in the Australian colours, but unfortunately for the Barbarians, it was the wrong option from Underwood, which meant that the opportunity went to Australia.
And I mentioned Wilson Winneray, if you remember, in 1964, Winneray, the All Black skipper, scored the final try in the biggest ever victory against the Barbarians by a tour side when the All Blacks beat them 36-3. So those Australian forwards have got revitalised. Stan Pilecki, number one, diving over, and now it's Cox. Hawker, Poidevin through again. He's over the 22. Blanco's going for him. Poidevin all the way, but he may have got it down. The try has been recorded. And so Simon Poidevin, who's having a tremendous match to climax for him also, a very successful tour indeed, puts the Australians, well, all the way out. It came so quickly. Hawker came off his right foot quite beautifully, and then watch how Poidevin saw, well, almost like the Sahara Desert in front of him. Robert Ackerman couldn't catch. Now, Blanco may have been a little bit late in getting across. He put the spurt on here, but Poidevin, with his strength, got it down. Poidevin's second try of the match, his fourth of the tour. And the Australians singing up in the stand behind us, as they've every right to do. So Michael Lina with this to hoist his 100 points for the tour. Looks nice, but it just seemed to skip the side of the post and stayed out.
Well, I absolutely love seeing big wing forwards in full flight, although I add quickly, not when I used to play against them. And to watch Steve Poidevin here getting away, the Barbarians are so tired, there's no real defence there. And Poidevin, like all his colleagues, wants to get in on the arc, does very well to get there and shrug off Blanco's tackle, but well done.
9 tries in the match so far with 3.5 minutes to go. Australia leading 37-20, and here comes Poidevin again. He's not going to have to run the whole way once more. Been a touch of the seven-a-sides about this match, I must say, and very much in the Barbarian tradition, and well, in the Australian tradition of the tour as well. Gallion, Davies, Ackerman misses out Mullen to Blanco, Blanco to Smith, Smith is round Campese, Smith going over the 22, Lina with the tackle, the pick up there by Ross Reynolds, good work by the number 8 forward. Big Ross Reynolds, who scored a try in the first test against the All Blacks in the 3-match series recently. Watkins throwing long. Anderson flicks. Gallion goes. He's through. A typical try by the French scrum half. Well, we wondered when he'd go, and he picked, well, the right time. Jerome Gallion, the scorer. The fellow who scored a try in each of his first 3 international championship games. And it was a typical Gallion try. The throw was a beauty. Full credit to Mike Watkins. He used the tail. Big Willie Anderson was the target for him, and he found him. Now look how Gallion swerved, came inside, and then woof, clean through. Lovely. And an easy conversion there for the captain, Gareth Davis, who's still looking for a bit extra.
Well, Gallion showed there why he's one of the most feared scrum halves in Europe, with his speed and guile. An opportunity he's been looking for throughout the match, and took his try very, very well indeed.
Minute of the match to go. 37-26, and Gallion isn't finished yet. Oh, Mullen clean through, this young Irish centre. On to Blanco. Blanco has Underwood outside. Underwood going for the corner. Gould after him again. Great tackle by Gould. And superb covering there by Steve Williams once more. Barbarians still going. The big crowd roars them on. Mike Watkins tries to pull a body over. It's a penalty. And they'll go for the short one. But once again, full credit to the Australian vice-captain, Steve Williams, the lock forward. Brilliant cover. Gallion, Davies, McGaughey. A solid wall there. But McGaughey still battling to win the ball for on his side. The scrummage goes to the Barbarians. There's just 11 points in it. We're almost into injury time.
Yeah, it's so difficult to score from these set-piece situations, even though they're very close to the line. If the forwards are going to drive in, they've got to drive in to set up the ball for their backs, who have a far better opportunity outside.
Into injury time. Anderson holds it. Pick up by Anderson. No way through, it's Gallion. Gallion out there to Davies. Davies inside. Ackerman couldn't quite hold it. McGaughey wins it. Well, it was a penalty for being offside at the breakdown point, and the Barbars get a second bite of the cherry. Gallion once more. Davis, Anderson. Blanco is home. And that'll be one of the most popular tries of the whole match. The 11th try in this game. And Blanco, the scorer. They were almost bound to get over from the tap penalty. Gareth Davis did it, and Willie Anderson fed out beautifully. The little half dummy was enough. Michael Lynagh couldn't hold him. Well, listen to the roars from the crowd. 7 points in it. A bit of injury time. Gareth Davis, who's already kicked 3 goals. Just wide. That was the kick, really, that the Barbarians badly needed.
Well, let's just enjoy it. Quick passing along the line. The Australian defence might be a bit sloppy, but Serge Blanco's worked hard all afternoon.
.67 points scored, by far the highest aggregate in any one of those 14 games between the Barbarians and major touring sides. Barbars have won 5 times. They've beaten Australia 3-1, and they're coming out again. Underwood's pass knocked down there by Hawker. Hawker gets Ackerman. Now it's Smith. Andrew Slacken with the tackle. Just outside the Barbarians' 22. And we don't want that at the end of this match. It's really been a match played in good spirit, and as Rennie Urke says, come on fellas, we're in the last moment, so let's be silly. Simon Poidevin there, who's scored 2 tries, just lost the rag just a little bit, but it's all settled down as Davies goes. Now it's Mullen, Blanco. It's a great kick, but time is of the essence now to the Barbars. We've played 3 minutes of injury time, and there's 7 points in it. Remember, the Australians have only beaten the Barbarians once. That was in the great days of Hawthorn and Catchpole, 1967. Australians won then by 17 points to 11. Lawton throws, Norster reaches high once more. Davies kind of loose past to Mullen. He did well, he got up. Poidevin puts him down once again, and away goes Rees. Whistle goes for the end of the match, and well, there's the kind of friendly feeling you get at the end of an extravaganza like this. It's been in every sense in the full tradition of both those sides. A magnificent match, 11 tries, and the Australians getting through by 37 points to 30.